Thanks to those joining me live and to those that are joining me on archive. DStyleBoxing here. Thumbs up the video. The chat is open. I'll see if I'll get the chat up or not while I do this video. We'll see. And also, if you're listening archive, leave a comment and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. All right? And then I say thumbs up the damn video. I said thumbs up the video. Check it out. Number one. And number two, number three, the whole nine, everything. We're going to go over everything. Right? Look. I've been observing the last couple of months. I really have. Right? And it's been a little longer than that, but it really did escalate when Johsua defeated Klitschko. Right? And this is just an observation of mine. Okay? Let me first tell you where I stand. Right? Let me tell you where DStyle stands in all this. All right? Really simple. This is where I stand. DStyleBoxing wants to see the best fight the best in all weight classes. DStyle is not interested in excuses. DStyle is not interested in the explanations. DStyle is not interested in any of that. And whoever is in the way of making the best fight, like whatever gets in the way of the best fighting the best, whatever that is, okay, is an enemy of making the best fights happen. And that's it, right? No, not enemy like war, it's personal. I'm just saying, you know, there's a problem. Whether it's the fighter, the manager, whether it's the promotion, the split, the fan base, whatever is getting in the way of the best fighting the best, whatever is getting in the way of title holders fighting title holders, whatever gets in the way of that, all divisions, just to be consistent, I have a problem with it, right? You know, and then I have a serious problem with that. Now, not that this doesn't happen with a lot of other divisions, but in a way, I will say this. In the midst of all this chaos, there's some positive news, okay? Oh, what's the positive news? Well, the positive news is that we're actually talking about the heavyweight division, right? For so long, the Klitschko brothers, and then in latter years, just Vladimir himself, in the history of YouTube anyway, had such a stranglehold in the division, there was nothing to talk about. Like they were so dominant, there was nothing to talk about. There was no controversy. Okay, YouTubers were losing friendships over the heavyweight division. Okay, beefs weren't started over the heavyweight division. Okay, there wasn't channels that are tired of hearing about other channels, and you know, nobody was saying things like I just can't stand these people anymore. When the Klitschkos were dominating the division, right? And nobody was talking about the heavyweight division. Period. Right? That, and like them or not, the Klitschkos fought everybody. Okay, like it didn't matter. There was no such thing as this guy hasn't done enough, and he needs to go to a gauntlet, and well, what about this guy? He just fought everybody, and that's it. Okay, right? End of story. Do I criticize the level of opposition? Sure, but it's really not his fault or their fault. That was the best they had at the time, right? David, hey, you can say what you want. At the time, it was a big fight, right? That was like the closest to controversy, but like everybody kind of knew Vladimir was going to win, right? So there was no real controversy. At least now there's controversy, right? At least now we have something to talk about. But the bad news is that YouTube channels were always cool with everybody. All of a sudden, like they're tired of everybody. Okay? All of a sudden, I'm tired of hearing people. I'm going to block this. I'm going to block that. I ain't going to talk about so-and-so. I'm tired of, I'm not going to associate myself with this, or I'm going to talk about everything else except this fight with people. You know, like look, at the end of the day, every specific channel's going to feel however they feel. Okay? Now, there's been a very misconception around YouTube, right, that DStyleBoxing is this big Deontay Wilder fanboy, right? Why? Because I don't believe that Deontay Wilder is contaminating the test results of his opponents. Why? Well, why am I a fanboy? Because I don't believe that Wilder, trying to avoid Ortiz and Povetkin when he obviously signed to fight them. Okay, but they failed the test. Is that why? Or why? Like what? That's why I'm a fan. That's a fanboy nowadays. When you take a reasonable position, that makes you a fanboy. I don't know how many of you know this, but DStyleBoxing, and yes, I'm referring to myself in the third person, but anyway, but DStyleBoxing had Povetkin winning that fight. I thought Povetkin was going to beat Wilder. All right? That's what I thought. I looked at the matchup and I said, that's a bad matchup for Wilder. I gave my reasons, but that aside, does that make me a fanboy? Does that make me a fanboy? I believe that Johsua beats Wilder, okay? I favor Johsua in that fight. Do I sound like a Deontay Wilder fanboy to you? Now let's go through this piece by piece. Are there Deontay Wilder fanboys? The answer is yes. Are there Johsua fanboys? Yes, there is. Okay? You have to be willfully ignorant, okay, and blind yourself to not see that. How the hell do I see that, but you don't see it? All fighters have fanboys. It's just who you specifically, get targeted by, or of course, if you're not, let's say for whatever reason, you don't believe that Wilder deserves a shot against Johsua, common sense says that yes, you're going to get hounded by Wilder fans. Okay, if you take that position. It depends what position you take. Why else am I a fanboy of Deontay Wilder? Why? I've never come on here and said he was my favorite heavyweight. I've never come on here and said he's one of my favorite fighters in boxing. I've been very critical of Deontay Wilder's career. How the hell am I a Deontay Wilder fanboy? Ask yourselves, why am I being called that if there's no such thing as unreasonable Johsua fans? Ask yourself that question. You're not the people that are getting hounded by Wilder fans. You're not the only one getting hounded, okay? That's just not the case. Now, there's a lot of things that happen, okay? Number one, not everyone, okay? Not every person that wants to see Wilder versus Johsua, okay, has some scheme planned, okay, or an agenda, all right? Maybe their only agenda is wanting to see the biggest possible fight at heavyweight. Maybe that's their only agenda. Maybe that's it, all right? Maybe some of them genuinely believe that Deontay Wilder could beat Johsua. Maybe they're not. Maybe they just believe that. And it's always like, no matter what I say, it's always the same thing. Well, everything you're asking of this, why don't you ask them of that? Like what? Again, there is this cognitive bias that some of you just have, okay? And it's come to light with this fight for some reason. Let's just go with this. Let's just go through it piece by piece, okay? First of all, numero uno, it's just boxing, people, okay? That's it. Some people just treat it as a sport, okay? So when they say, yeah, I want to see Johsua, he's going to get his ass whooped. Deontay Wilder's going to knock him out. You don't have to take that personal, okay? That's just, if you want to call it talking shit, whatever you want to call it, there isn't some evil scheme and evil agenda behind that, Okay, they just want to see the fight, and they feel confident that their favorite heavyweight will win. Now, me personally, I don't know what the fuck Joshua fans are sweating. I think Joshua puts Wilder to sleep. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck like they're taking it all personal about. There's really only one way to settle it then, right? There's only one way to settle the argument of who would win. There's only one way to do it, if they actually fight. Okay. Now this, for whatever reason, after the Klitschko fight, right? After the Klitschko fight, a lot of Joshua fans got upset that Wilder fans were calling out Joshua. Okay? Oh, Wilder's calling out Joshua. Who does he think he is? Who has he beat? You know, why did he beat Klitschko when he had the chance? Yeah, he had 10 years to beat Klitschko. Like, you know, just like, look, I'm not saying none of that is true, but like, why get upset over it? Like, that's what I don't get. Look, Wilder's not the only guy calling out Joshua. Okay? He's not. But he's the only guy that creates this type of response from Joshua fans. Right? In fact, Wilder's the only guy that when they ask him about Wilder, he's the only one. I can't, I have video evidence of it. His way of talking is different. When they ask him about Wilder, he starts talking about how he's going to fight him when he's ready. That he's got to talk to his team. Things like his health are important. Okay? He starts talking about, you know, fighting when he's ready. Like, maybe I fought him next year. Maybe I wasn't ready just yet for him. But that's how so he's not talking like that about any other opponent. You didn't see him talking like that about Pulev. You didn't see him saying, I don't know, man. I want to fight Pulev when I'm ready. You know, maybe next year. Maybe the year after that. I don't know. You're the world champion, bro. You're the best in the world. The training wheels are off. That's it. You got to fight the best comers. That's it. Right? Now, yes, before, I know it's a knee-jerk reaction. I know. Before you type it, I know. Right? Why don't you ask the same of Wilder? Like, who said I haven't? Right? Who said I haven't? Yes, I expect the same of Wilder. I believe Wilder should fight the best to prove himself. The best is fucking Joshua. Like, what the fuck do you guys want me to say? That's the best. Like, what do you mean? No, but he keeps pulling himself out of fights. Why? Because his opponents are failing drug tests. That's not his fault. You have to be, okay, just honestly, the level of conspiracy you have to go through to believe that Wilder is making all these guys fail and working in conjunction with VADA and all this, okay? You have to be willfully, okay, believing this. I mean, you have to be pushing yourself to believe this. This is reaching at this point, all right? This is reaching. Does it annoy you that there's Wilder fans that believe that their guy can beat your guy? Does that annoy you? I don't know what you're sweating about. Your guy's going to beat him. I don't know what you're sweating about. I'm just saying. Now, there's no doubt. Like it's always the same thing, right? No, Wilder, he has no intention of fighting the best. He just wants to cash out against Joshua, right? It can be. That's how you guys are choosing. Now, again, when I say that, that's not necessarily Joshua fans, right? Not every Joshua fan is a Wilder, detractor. Okay, so we have to be careful, even myself, on how we word these things. We have to be careful with that, right? And I admit that. I do. But I'm trying to understand. Like, are you guys saying that? Well, are you trying to argue that we shouldn't do drug tests? Everybody should just take whatever they want. Is that what you're trying to say? You know, like, what are we trying to say here? Because if that's your stance, that better be your stance about everything. Right? Me, I'm for a clean sport. I know the sport isn't clean. I know there's people out there cheating. That's why I'm for testing. Okay? I know there's stuff out there that they can't catch. I know that. But that doesn't mean that whoever gets caught is a victim because there's things out there that can't get caught. Like, get the fuck out of here. Okay? At the end of the day, all I know, I'm just a fight fan. I just want to see the fight. That's all I know. Right? I literally just, like, I honestly believe there's not every Joshua fan, but there's Joshua fans out there, okay, that want Wilder to quote unquote earn the shot. But then when I say the following, they don't have an answer for it. They turn it into a Wilder thing. But I'll keep saying it over and over again. Tell me what Wilder has to do to quote unquote earn a shot against Joshua. Tell me what that is. But once you tell me, if you're willing to tell me, you need to tell me what it is. Okay? A lot of you don't, like, you're quick to say Wilder hasn't earned a shot. And when I say, okay, fair enough, what does Wilder have to do to earn the shot then? When I say that, and that's about Wilder, what does Wilder have to do to earn the shot? What does he have to do? So it is about Wilder. I'm like asking you guys. But then they don't like to follow up. They never like to follow up, right? Well, what's the follow-up, DStyle? The follow-up is, okay, then whatever that is that Wilder has to do, whatever it is, then every single dude that Joshua fights needs to meet those demands. And if that person isn't meeting those demands, and I've even said this, I'll give you a pass with mandatories. Mandatories are acceptable, fine. But any fighter that's not a mandatory better meet those requirements that you say Wilder has to meet. If not, then you're fighting other guys. You're fighting other guys that aren't meeting those requirements. Why does Wilder have to meet those requirements? Now, if you're willing to tell me what it's because, you know, or it's something else, or it's you don't want the fight, then you couldn't hide it. You could reword it. You could frame it however you want. At the end of the day, if you're not willing to tell me what Wilder has to do to quote unquote earn a shot against Joshua, if that's how you want to say it, then every fighter that's not a mandatory that Joshua fights has to meet those. Then, and then the flip side is, well, what about Wilder? What requirements? I don't have any fucking requirements. I just want to see Wilder fight Joshua. That's all I want to see. They're two title holders. I just want to see that damn fight. I'm not the one that's against the fight. Okay. I believe both guys are the best heavyweights in the world, so I want to see them fight. It's not that complicated. All right? Well, what did Joshua do to quote-unquote earn a shot against Klitschko before he fought Klitschko? What did he do? So why are we asking Wilder to do things that, I mean, this is insane. Wilder should have, if he would have won, Povetkin, and he would have knocked out, I don't care what anybody says, man. He was going to beat Ortiz, okay? This whole boogeyman thing about Ortiz, I'm just not impressed. I've seen Ortiz fight, okay? He's not as good as people are making him out to be. He's not. He's not as good as Solis was, okay? He's just not that dude, all right? I honestly believe Wilder was going to stretch his ass. Right? I don't. I'm not even 100% sure he beats Stavern. Okay, I know everybody just want to shit on Stavern nowadays. Okay, I've never been big on Stavern. Don't get me wrong, but the way people are talking about, Ortiz, I mean, holy shit. People are talking about Ortiz like he's this killer. He's such a killer that he takes fucking high blood pressure medicine, apparently. Okay, and it causes dizziness and vomiting and all these bad side effects, right? Bad effects. And they use that as an excuse to duck them. Right. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, Wilder didn't fight a guy that has sickness and vomiting and diarrhea and, and all this bad illness. Right. He just ducked the guy. Okay. Like, like you guys, do you even believe half of the shit you say? Like this shit you type down, do yourself a favor from now on. Whenever you type something down, read it out loud. Just read it out loud. See how it sounds. Okay? But some of the shit you guys say is ridiculous. Honestly. It's ridiculous. So now we got the damn, and then again. So we got this damn stupid Stavern fight. Okay, I don't like the fight. Fucking hate the fight. Right? But the reality is he's a fucking mandatory. But everybody wants to say it's Wilder's fault. Right, it's Wilder's fault. It's Wilder's fault. It's all his fault. Right. He made Stavern mandatory. Okay. Now Wilder has the power to influence VADA and the WBC, and next they're gonna say he's fucking ruling Congress and controlling the president, and who knows what type of influence people are gonna say fucking Wilder has. Okay. This is stupid. Wilder couldn't even get Povetkin to fight him in America. You think he has the power to do all these other things? Are you crazy? Right? Get the fuck out of here. And then Wilder turned down $4 million to fight Dillian White. Says Dillian White and Eddie Hearn. That's your source? The opponent cannot. That's a conflict of interest. That can't be your source. All right? Well, what type of a dumb source is that? Well, White said it. It hasn't occurred to you that White could be lying? It hasn't occurred to you that maybe he misunderstood? Do you even know that Wilder would have to have paid, because Stavern is the mandatory, you would have to have paid him $1 million as step-aside money? Do you even know that? Or do you guys just make shit up as you go? Like what? And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm far from a Wilder fanboy. Far. Right? Like, to be 100% honest with you, it's if a lot of these Wilder fans get what they're asking for, which is the Joshua fight, okay? Then we can all go back to getting along, because Joshua's going to knock him out, right? DStyle's telling you right now, right? Okay, yeah, I'm a Wilder fanboy that thinks Joshua's going to knock him out. Oh, but why do you want to see the fight then? Because DStyle doesn't like to think. I don't like to think that I know shit. Okay, I just want to know. At the end of the day, anything can happen in a fight, right? And what good is it that I think? If I think Joshua could beat him, what good is that if Joshua has reservations about fighting the guy? What good does it do me, or him anyway, that I believe he could beat him? What good does that do? Nothing. Now, I would play the audio, but I don't have the patience to look for it right now, okay? But I went back, I listened to the audio, all right? And he just talks differently when he talks about Wilder, okay? That's just the truth. You can say whatever you want. He talks the way he talks about, and then I thought he was going to get pushback by the interviewer, right? Because the interviewer goes, I swear to God, he goes, well, just to play devil's advocate for a moment, right? I thought he's going to be like, what do you mean you want to see if you're ready to fight Wilder? Aren't you ready now? Aren't you the best right now? Aren't you the heavyweight champion right now? Why did you do the fight next and prove that you're better? Right? Some pushback. No. You know what? You know what? When he said, "I'm going to play devil's advocate for him," you know what the guy said? He said, "If Hay gets past his next opponent, dude from the Rocky movie, what the hell is his name? Maybe Hay could be an opponent." David Hay. Like they're like if David Hay's in the same conversation right now as Wilder, right? I mean, you can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't, right? Now, before Cokehead, which Tyson Fury over there, before Tyson, I mean, why is it that Tyson Fury was in the ring talking shit to Wilder's face right after like Wilder's fight, right? I forgot who Wilder fought, and they're already thinking about making that fight, but we can't get AJ and Wilder in the same ring together. Okay, Joshua has a fight, Wilder's in attendance, and they don't even bring his name up. Okay, it's kind of strange to me, right? It's just kind of strange, right? So all I'm going to say is this, all right? This is all I'm going to say, and we're going to wrap the shit up. In my opinion, way too many people are taking this shit too serious, right? Way too serious, like just way too serious, right? It's like people are stopping being cool with people they've been cool with for years here because they disagree on the Wilder Joshua situation. It's fucking insane, right? That's insane to me, right? But then again, it's good to see the heavyweight division back in the conversation. Like people give a shit about the division, which is good. Okay, I'm glad to see it back, and I'm glad that the division is back in full swing. All right, but there's no need to end friendships because of the Wilder Joshua thing. Okay, none of us on here are making money off of Joshua or Wilder. None of us are on their payroll. Okay, it's just not necessary. That's I'll say that. Right. And somebody's put in the chat, people can't rush my career. Look, man, fans throughout history, okay? It's easy to look at history and say, oh, well, fights will happen, and I'll talk about them when they happen. I don't want to talk about what if and making matches. Look, at the end of the day, public perception, okay? Public perception throughout boxing history has influenced fights, okay? Has made fights possible. Why? Because fighters get paid off of public perception. That's just a reality, right? So would have Sugar Ray Leonard have fought Hagler if there wasn't a public demand for that fight? No. He would have fought him and nobody was going to watch that fight. There had to be a demand for that fight for it to happen. Right now, there's demand for Joshua versus Wilder, right? And if the public demands it, it's more likely to happen. Like, boxing doesn't just happen on its own, okay? The fans don't just lay back, wait, and see what happens, okay? That's not the way it works. That's just not the way it works. Okay, like to give you like a little bit of a history here. Okay, so Jeffries would not have come out to fight Jack Johnson if it wasn't for public demand, right? He wouldn't. It wouldn't have happened. We can't just ignore that fact. We can't just go back and talk about it like it just happened, like Jeffries fought Johnson and that's it. Okay. No, there is a story behind that. The story of Wilder Joshua is happening right now. It's literally happening right now, right? So to tell people, oh, I'm not going to associate myself with people that are demanding the fight, or I'm tired of people talking about it. If it happens, it happens. Well, look, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want, but at the end of the day, I'm going to talk about it because I want to see it. Public demand, here's what happens with public demand, okay? It puts pressure on fighters, okay? That's what it does. Now, this happens all the time. When a fight finally gets signed, all right, it's like the biggest irony of all time. These fighters act like, or their fans anyway, act like the public outcry had nothing to do with it. He was going to fight and sign him anyway, right? First of all, you don't know that. But one of the first people that fighters always seem to, give a shout out to when they have a success, when they win a fight or something, they always give a shout out to the quote unquote haters, right? Well, that's because those people were on their mind, okay? Because it mattered to them. Public perception, public pressure makes fights happen. Not fanboyism, okay? Not fans that are making every excuse in the book not to make a fight. That's not what makes fights happen, right? Public pressure does, because enough public pressure means there's a lot of public interest, and public interest equals dollars, all right? Joshua Wilder is a big fucking fight, okay? And of course, that's my opinion, but DStyleBoxing has a very good track record on saying what's a big fight and what isn't, all right? Random people in comment sections just don't, okay? Because you haven't put your money where your mouth is for years consistently on here, all right? That's just the reality. That is a big fight. It is. Now, look, I'm not calling it I'm not saying it's fucking Ali or Frazier. That's not what I'm saying. But of all the heavyweight fights right now, that's the biggest fight right there. Okay? Anyway, this is DStyleBoxing. Keep it boxing. And I'm out of here.